I thought this was just another protest clip. Then the masks started dropping literally. Paid actors, ties to terrorists, and billionaires funding the whole thing. You're not ready for what this guy uncovers, and I'm reacting to it all in real time.
I'm just looking to interview one person. People are not able to talk to me. Would you be down to talk to me?
I don't have that role today, so the speakers are there.
No, but I just want to get to know your thoughts on the strike last night.
Yeah, that's not my job for the day.
What's your job for the day?
Well, right now I'm on security, so I can't.
What organization are you with?
So who can go? Or one of these members?
What organization are you with?
I can't answer that, sorry.
A day after the United States struck Iran's nuclear facilities, I went to a pro-Iran protest in New York City to ask people their thoughts on the strike. I ended up exposing multiple paid protesters and an NGO facilitating lawlessness all over the country. This is my biggest exposed video yet. Welcome back to the Nate Friedman Show.
Question. What did you think about the strike yesterday? What are your thoughts on it?
Excuse me, sir. He's a Zionist. He's not going to talk about it.
Wait, what's that?
Do not engage with him, please.
You're Zionist?
Yes.
Am I a Zionist? How am I a Zionist?
So within 3 seconds of my first interview at the protest, this woman runs over to stop the conversation. And if I slow the video down, you can clearly see her getting instructions from a professional protester to run over and stop the interview from happening. It's clear they have me on a list, and you'll see more evidence of that in a moment. But first, I want to say something directly to the woman who tried to stop the interview. The man you're protecting from an interview has a flag in Arabic that writes, "There is no God but Allah." Now, Gaza agrees. That's why it's governed with Sharia law, meaning if you touched him in public, you'd be a criminal, and it wouldn't help your case that you're not wearing a hijab either. Now, unfortunately, in your effort to cover up the truth, you showed me where to look. This man is not only a professional protester, but something much worse. Watch this. Here he is leading a protest right in front of the White House, back again in New York City leading the charge, and again outside the Trump building on Wall Street. Here's where things take a horrific turn. This is him standing with a man wearing a Hamas headband, so that made me want to dig deeper, especially because he may be a threat to the American people. That's when I found him honoring a terrorist that killed American soldiers. Here he is speaking at a vigil for Nasrallah, the former Secretary General of Hezbollah, the very proxy that killed over 600 American soldiers in Iraq. Now, this man actually may be responsible for the health of some New Yorkers right now, because I found him with the Healthcare Workers United for Palestine movement and again wearing a Test and Trace Corps jacket. That's part of the New York State government, the people responsible for doing medical testing. Now, would you want this man to have anything to do with your healthcare? Kash Patel, I know you must be very busy, but it is my belief that this man is worthy of the FBI's time.
Do you want to see?
Wow, you know what's amazing about what he's doing, Nate Friedman, is he's really exposing these people and showing how these are hired people because they're showing up to all of these protests all over the place. This is how this man makes a living. He gets paid to protest anti-Israel and not anti-American protests. And when we see protests, we have to understand it's not the masses. It's actually it's a huge team of paid people.
Tel Aviv get bombed?
This is not what I want to. What's gonna be happen, I can tell you.
Okay.
It's gonna be what is gonna be comes.
Yeah.
That's I can tell you. It's not my option or your option.
Do you think that, what's that? You gonna stop him from interviewing me? You know that this proves our point, right?
Okay.
So now two people, listen, two people. What do you want to prevent him to say?
We're getting ready to march.
Now here we go again, another paid protester coming to stop my interview. Although this time, he's not just one of the workers, he is a leader. His name is David Chung. He is the general manager at the People's Forum, the company responsible for organizing these pro-Iran protests. We know that because they literally told us that at the previous rally.
What's the best way that people can get involved into organizing the protest?
In New York, the People's Forum is a great space to get politicized, to meet people in your community, to come together.
Now, David has been a paid protester for a long time. This is his portfolio that got him promoted to be a manager. Here's him yelling to stop NATO. Here's him yelling to release Khalil, a man who was the spokesperson of an organization at Columbia that passed out pro-Hamas flyers. Here is David again wearing a safety vest at a protest, which is what you get to do after you prove yourself. Now, David has even been in the promotional material for the Party of Socialism and Liberation to never stop fighting for Palestine, as they show themselves protesting just one day after October 7th. Now, just looking at the People's Forum on Glassdoor, it seems managers get paid between $60,000 to $90,000 a year.
Wow, pretty good job. It's just fantastic that Nate is exposing all of these people and calling them out publicly. And hopefully this will have the impact that it needs to have.
And you've just seen what they do with their time. And it's not as if all these protests take place on the weekend either. If you look on their X, they are constantly posting their protests that take place during the work week. You might even see some familiar faces on their X feed. But all of this isn't about just some manager at a company. This goes all the way to DC. Here is David with Rashida Tlaib. Now, Tlaib is a congresswoman who has called for the abolishment of police. She's also promised to, quote, impeach that mother when referring to Trump. She showcases the Palestine flag outside her office, and yes, there's a bit of irony in this picture when you see which flag is also there. And this is a glimpse of Tlaib's district. Does this look like the United States to you? So what is the People's Forum, and how did they get powerful enough to meet with a congresswoman? First, we have to talk about this photo. On the very right is Manolo Santos. He's the executive director of the People's Forum. Now, I'm not sure if there's enough therapy in the world for Manolo, because he said, when we finally deal the final blow to destroy Israel, when the state of Israel is finally destroyed and erased from history, that will be the single most important blow we can give to destroying capitalism. Now, when you get your kids ready for school, he's protesting. When you go to work, he's getting arrested. When you go out to lunch, he's occupying Fox News. He has, without a doubt, one of the largest portfolios of a paid protester that I've ever seen. But they got this picture with Tlaib because she's been an advocate for ending the blockade to Cuba for a while now. Tlaib actually tried to push an amendment in 2022 to suspend U.S. restrictions on financing agricultural exports to Cuba, and even 55 Democrats voted against it. So that was tax money well spent. Now, David is in this picture because he's high up at the People's Forum, and he has been no stranger to Cuba activism. The irony is that Cuba doesn't have freedom of speech. It's a one-party state ruled by communism. So this entire career that he's built himself wouldn't exist in Cuba. Now, who's funding the bales of these paid agitators? His name is Neville Roy Singham, a billionaire and self-described socialist. Singham and his wife Jody Evans, who is the co-founder of Code Pink, have given over $20 million to the People's Forum. Singham funneled the money through the Goldman Sachs Philanthropy Fund, and after a while of keeping the source of the money a secret, the People's Forum eventually said, "A few years ago we met Roy Singham, a Marxist comrade who sold his company and donated most of his wealth to nonprofits that focus on political education, culture, and internationalism." Now, Singham, the principal donor of the People's Forum, made his money by selling his IT consulting business to a private equity firm for $785 million. Now, Singham has praised Hugo Chavez, describing Venezuela under his rule as a phenomenally democratic place. He's also said that China is teaching the West that the world is better off with a dual system of both free market adjustments and long-term planning. So with that $20 million that Singham gives the People's Forum, they use it to host classes on Marxism. They essentially serve as a protest incubator for other nonprofits.
You know, we just need, everyone needs to know, if you're going to protests, what you are actually supporting. Who are the people behind these protests? Anti-capitalism, pro-communism. These are really very, very unwell people who are trying to bring down our country, the United States of America, never mind Israel.
In April of 2024, more than 100 activists from ongoing anti-Israel protests on Columbia University's campus met with members of the People's Forum in their Manhattan office just hours before protesters occupied Columbia's Hamilton Hall. So Singham, along with Soros, is one of the biggest funders of anti-America protest. Next up, I went to go see what the flyers were that they were passing out. When I went to just ask the guy a question, this gentleman wearing a shackled by the occupier shirt in Arabic came to stop my interview.
Okay. Hey man, can I ask you a question? Why are you stopping people from doing interviews? Can I ask you guys why you're doing that? You want to keep walking? Yeah, fake point somewhere that you need to go.
Now this guy is another professional protester. Take a look at this. You see how he's the middle one here with the director of the People's Forum occupying Fox News? Now that's all normal behavior for these guys, but here's him getting arrested. Little less normal, but still par for the course. But what was he arrested for? Now, I found an article of him getting out of jail. You can clearly see it's him. It's the same tattoo. And the article says it's for the Columbia protest that took place. But yet there's no sign of him actually being a Columbia student. So when Eric Adams did say that there were outside agitators, maybe this is one of them. Now, it looks like he works with the PSL. You can see he doesn't like getting his picture taken. Now, the PSL's fiscal sponsor is the Progress Unity Fund.
Well, you know what we see from this, from all of this, is that this is a major orchestrated event tied to millions and millions of dollars. When we see protests going on, they're not just people coming out to protest. These are an enormous group of people by each protest who are being paid, and they're being paid to control the protest so that they can make sure that their agenda is getting out without slipping up in any way, which is why they don't let people be interviewed. There's a lot of intimidation, and it's just fascinating how so many young people actually buy into this and fall for this and are campaigning about ideas which are the destruction of the West and of Israel.